I'm going to imagine it's a day, and so I'm going to start with breakfast with muesli. You know, I'm kind of stuck already. I can't even decide what I'm meant to put in the muesli. So I've opened the muesli and that all looks great. But I've got a little skim milk powder sachet, but then I've also got my awesome sweetened condensed milk. So eeny, meeny, miny, who knows? And it's just muesli. Yeah, it's good. Potentially not as fresh and as crunchy as I'd like, but you know, I would definitely eat that. There is a tin of diced pears in syrup and one of those handy little tin opener thingies. Now I know there's a whole lot of names and nicknames that these things are given, and they do have a little spoon on the end, so kind of helpful, kind of handy. But you know, a spoon like this comes with the whole pack, so I'm going to use this spoon instead. Pears and syrup. Slight metallic taste. I have a feeling that they're a little out of date, but these are Ardmona, so these are good old Aussie pears from Shepparton, and yeah, so these guys supply, and it doesn't seem to have an expiry date on it. But yeah, your typical pears in syrup. Yum. The crisp breads, they are quite broken up, but the closest they are is to Vita Wheat. So if you're an Aussie and you're familiar with your Vita Wheat, that's pretty much what they are. Except not tasting so good. Curious to know if any other country's military have yeast extract, which we know as Vegemite or Marmite, Promite, something like that, in their packs, or is it a truly Australian thing? Now, I followed the golden rule with yeast extract, which is sparingly. You don't put it on like Nutella. As much as I wish this was Nutella right now, it's so not. Whew. Okay, this is the hardest part of the test I've done so far. Yeah, that is truly disgusting. That is, it's like it's not even Vegemite. It's not salty enough, and it's on a kind of not quite Vita Wheat. It's just not quite right. But this will taste much better. Yum. So not putting that on like Vegemite. This hopefully will get rid of that horrible Vegemite taste. The jam is great. The cracker is still disgusting. The awesome person who sent me this at Ratpack also sent me one of these. It's one of those Hexamite stoves, and these can come with the packs as well. So I'm going to actually put it on now so I can boil some water, because I'm going to need that for I guess my cup of tea or cooking up my noodles. Now I'm imagining it's morning tea, and I'm going to have the apricot bar. Now it actually looks like it's one of those baked ones, with the gooey apricot stuff inside. And it just tastes like a commercial one. Not bad. There are two main meals that were included in the Ratpack. So this one came with the chili, tuna and pasta, and also with the meatball and spaghetti. So I'm going to choose to have my chili, tuna and pasta for lunch, and the other one I'm going to imagine is my dinner. But I'm actually going to pop it in my boiling billy just to heat it up first. It does say ready to eat, so I can imagine there are times when you can't even have heat or anything like that out in the field. Here I've got my stove, I'm going to heat it up a bit. Now, one thing about pre-packaged food for the outdoors is that it's never going to look appetizing, you know, because instead of being laid out on a plate all nice and neat, you know, plating as they call it in MasterChef, it's all kind of just mushed together in a bag, and hence the chili, tuna and pasta kind of looks like baby food, or maybe what comes out of babies. You decide. Cheesy, and quite spicy on the chili. I guess there's that old adage of chili can cover a multitude of sins, and maybe with this, that's what they've done. So yeah, not bad. Of all the products so far, this cheese in a can has got to look the worst. It just smells like, you know, craft brick plastic cheese, and I'm thinking it's going to taste like it too. That has got to be. That is actually worse than your traditional craft processed brick cheese. Something tells me that cheese is not naturally that colour. Actually, something tells me that's not actually cheese. There's some sugar-free lemon lime flavoured chewing gum. Actually, that chewing gum. Gee, that's interesting. It kind of starts off at the first bite not being too bad, and then a couple of chews in, it's actually tasting kind of like pretty bad. It turns into like a disinfectant kind of like you've accidentally drunk bleach kind of taste. Yeah, that's not good at all. That's going out. Yeah. It's finally afternoon tea, and here's something I am looking forward to, the biscuit jam sandwich. So let's just see if it actually lives up to what I'm hoping it to be. But so far I'm on a steady downhill since breakfast, so yeah, here we go. Ooh, that looks good. Could these be as good as they look? And I had such hope for you. Yeah. I guess you've got to make them pretty hardy if they're going to survive out there, but the jam is the best part, undoubtedly. It kind of has that memory of, you know, the Arnott's version of these biscuits, but it's just so not. It's like the same with a lot of things. It's so close to being what you're familiar with, but then it's so far away. 3 bites in, you go, so disappointing. You know what these are trying to look like. You know what they're trying to taste like. But I just know I'm going to be disappointed. Yeah. It's not an M&M. It's not even a Smartie. Again, disappointment. Of the things so far though, if you were having a chocolate craving and needed a sugar hit in the afternoon, it's probably not a bad go-to. Oh yay! I've just realised there's a second packet of that really hideous lemon lime flavoured sugar-free gum. Well, now I'm imagining it's dinner time. And what better than meatball and spaghetti? Yet another ready prepared meal, guaranteed to look not so great, but actually this one looks pretty good. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, it's actually a recognisable meatball. Ooh. You know, I reckon the sauce and the spaghetti is probably the best part. The rest of the meatball kind of concoction, kind of like meatball-like qualities. You know, maybe not what you'd call meatball, but really highly processed. Yes. Again, it'll keep you alive, it's fine, but you know what, if I had my pick between this and the tuna pasta thing that was for lunch, I'd have the tuna pasta. Because this is where the black pepper and the salt that comes with the Ratpack probably comes into their own. I reckon if I had to eat this, I would use this stuff in abundance, plus the little tomato ketchup that comes with it, plus the little barbecue sauce, little baby. I reckon these guys probably become currency. Now let's try it with a whole lot of salt and pepper. Much better. Yeah, no, actually, no, my rating for the meatball and spaghetti. Yeah, sorry guys, my rating for that meatball and spaghetti is going to be about 3 out of 10. If you can't be meat, maybe don't even be a meat-like substance. So my billy is now boiling on my hexamine stove. Whew. So now I'm going to try the drinks. So the chocolate drink is just cocoa. So maybe that's where I can add my skim milk powder in too. And don't say you haven't done it, because we all have. The old sweetened condensed milk. Oh, that is the best thing in this Ratpack. I think one of the lesser chosen varieties of cup of soup I would take out into the bush with me would be the old cream of chicken soup. And of course, what have we got in the Australian Defence Force Ratpack for today? We have the creamy chicken soup sachet. Oh, check out all the chemicals in that. Awesome. It's unnaturally thick and has that smell of chicken stock from powder. You know, I don't think I've ever tasted chicken that tastes like that. But I'm not going to completely diss it, because if it's cold and it's wet and you need something hot and hearty and, you know, that gives you a sense of comfort and gives you some calories and some energy, you know, why not? Which proves my rule that anything tastes good in the bush, even creamy chicken soup. Well, what do you know? You get your daily ration of dunny paper, toilet paper, loo roll, bog roll, call it whatever you want. You get that in your ADF Ratpack too. Handy. Hooey! I am nearly through tasting everything in the Ratpack. I've got a few things to go. I've got the stove back on again to boil up some more water for the last thing. That's the beef noodles and a couple of other bits and pieces. The general feeling I'm getting from this Ratpack is that everything sort of feels like an imitation. It feels like it's not really the real thing. And I just can't help but think that if I was serving my country in the military, if I was out there doing the hard yards, that I'd really want things that didn't have a sense of home, but actually were the real thing, not just like a cheap copy that tastes a bit imitation-like. This is the only product that's in the Ratpack that's actually in its commercial packaging. So everything else is a bit of a mystery where it comes from, except for a couple of items which you can tell. But this one is actually one I'm actually excited about, because I do actually eat this jerky myself, and it's pretty tasty. So I kind of think if you're going to do meat, do something like a jerky, because it actually has more of a consistency like meat, unlike the meatballs and tomato sauce earlier on. And the thing I like about jerky is you can actually put it into like hot water or into a stew or something you're cooking up, and it does rehydrate a bit and it feels more like real meat. So I think this is a really good thing to have in the packs. So you'd kind of think that you can't get noodles really wrong. Well, so there's noodles and there's noodles. And the noodles themselves are okay, but the little beef sachet flavour thing that's meant to go on it, not so great. So I'd be imagining this would be the kind of thing you'd want to put your barbecue sauce and your tomato sauce or tomato ketchup on to make it better. But yeah, yet another imitation-y kind of thing. Fruitcake? Fruitcake? Really? Fruitcake? Sort of like fruitcake. That's actually not too bad. Or is it like so much in this pack that the first couple of mouthfuls are okay, and then you start to actually taste the chemicals or whatever it is that makes it not quite taste like what it should. There is some fruit in there, like a sultana, but again, it just kind of feels like a poor substitute. But with a cup of tea, or if you're needing some sort of comfort, maybe it'd be awesome. Because everyone needs a sugar hit every now and then. And that just tastes like, yep, like 1401, 296, 110, 122, 123 and 124. A whole lot of sugar. That's not really nice at all. Now the awesome person who sent me this Ratpack told me that the thing that is the best, that is most prized and most sought after and becomes a bit of a currency is this, the chocolate rations. But something tells me I might be a bit disappointed. How good is chocolate? How can you not like chocolate? Wow. That tastes nothing like chocolate. It's metallic. It doesn't melt, which I'm sure is probably why it's designed that way. Wow, it's like the worst, cheapest chocolate you have probably had as kids when you raided Mum's cooking pantry. Wow. Oh, so disappointing. Man, our troops deserve good chocolate. And that is not chocolate. Wow. I'm just going to have a moment of silence for the substance formerly known as chocolate. You know, I wouldn't go back to really anything in that pack as a food of choice in the outdoors. You know, it wasn't all bad. There were some high points, well, high-ish points, but yeah, there were a whole lot of lows in there. I am sure there's been a whole stack of research done to make this food as tasty as possible, you know, in the circumstances that it has to perform in. But you know, even me as a little bit of a pacifist, not so into the whole military and army war type thing, I'm still be pretty happy if some of my tax dollars went just that little bit further to see if we could make it just that little bit tastier for the guys and girls, a little bit more like real food, like it tastes at home.